Go to
Different
camp.
200,000 or 175 or?
Really?
Yeah, just going even Tahoe.
I mean, it's amazing the difference.
You can even go up to Marin, like Mount Tam, and you can feel the difference.
Yeah, you get above it. I mean, you see, you're only 12 feet above sea level right here,
Yeah.
about that. You know.
How much right here?
Then I can actually tell you, because I got an altimeter on my, I mean, so, yeah, you're not, because you
We're about
could,
500 feet above sea level now, aren't we?
no,
Who?
much less than that.
200 feet? 50 feet?
Where?
12.
Berkeley?
12! Oh.
Yeah, let me
Here?
find it.
Right here.
Yeah, because we're right by the
Yeah,
water.
you
I
go to the
checked
marina,
it
it's
in
there.
over there.
Oakland, where I'm staying with my son, youngest son. It was 12 feet where he lives.
In Carson City is what?
5,000.
Where do you check that on there, Cora?
I've got an altimeter.
Yeah, what's an
Is that an
what's
app?
an under? What app?
It's called, I'll tell you in a minute.
But if
Here you're
right-
150 feet above sea
Really?
level.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Way
didn't
up.
realize it was that much.
Right
Berkeley,
here.
you're
Right here.
150
here,
feet?
yeah.
Right
In this,
here,
in this
Right
place,
here.
this house.
where we are right now.
150
If you're
feet.
living
Right.
right at sea level though, I mean, the ocean and the breezes and currents are also cleaning the air.
No, they're not. Because the ocean is polluted with radiation right now. You have to realize, you guys haven't been paying attention to Fukushima. You might have to evacuate the west coast in the next year.
Really?
What did you say?
Fukushima.
Yeah, but what did you say about in the past
You-
year?
Next, the
Next year.
following year, I didn't say past year, you might have to evacuate the entire west coast.
Are you talking about the coastal cities
Today-
or the coastal states?
Today
The
I
coastal
read,
cities, they're on the coast, by
Today-
the ocean.
yeah, today in the paper they said something about that the owners of Fukushima,
Fukushima.
are taking away 400, I didn't get the amount because it didn't mean anything to me. It's a huge amount. On a daily basis they're going to start, and they said it's a very sensitive and unprecedented process that they're going to use that's highly risky.
You didn't finish your sentence. You're going to take away 400.
They're going to dispose of it somehow.
400 what?
Well,
I don't know.
400
they can't
live,
dispose of it.
I've read it, see,
No, it's
zero,
400.
zerohedge.com is the place to go where they keep you updated what's happening with Fukushima since 2011, which is when it blew up.
Mhm.
And we had the tsunami and the earthquake.
I'm sorry, I just didn't get the concept of what.
So
you
what
had
did
to remove.
what did they
And
say,
it's-
Claude?
there's a unit 4 that's full of active nuclear rods, not spent. They're
They
not,
said it's highly radioactive, that they're gonna try to dispose of it.
right.
This is in the regular paper too, so you know that it's probably pretty bad if they're.
Right, and they
planning
say if this doesn't go well, it will be the biggest disaster in the history of.
on- They said it's
recorded.
highly risky.
To live
Yeah, well,
here?
some people
There
are
was an
saying,
examiner today.
well, that's what I'm telling you today. You gotta monitor that situation. Don't try, rely on the local newspaper. Go to Zero Hedge, zero as in the number zero, hedge, one word.com.
You know, and at the very least, don't eat fish out of the Pacific Ocean,
Oh,
Right.
right.
or
Right.
honestly, even seaweed.
Right, and,
From what
and
I've
so you have to keep that aware of that if you're living here.
How many spare rooms do you have?
Yeah.
My family is already taken.
Oh, they're already coming up there, huh?
Got a garage?
They will move there if this happens here. My 2 kids on both sides, plus probably the family of my.
Gosh, just think, I mean,
daughter-in-law.
what real estate will probably skyrocket there after everybody's gonna be
And
running
so-
over.
and the real
Probably a lot
estate,
of people aren't even aware of it. What about moving to the East Coast?
it's probably, they say actually the best, if you're gonna move anywhere, you're really seriously thinking about moving a long way, the best place to go is south of the equator.
Really?
But you know, they say within 2 to 3 years, the radiation that's here is gonna be in at the Atlantic Ocean as well.
Right, because there was a
So-
lady, a congressperson in Boston, she said she's thinking of evacuating right now. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that subject,
Wow.
because we've already addressed it, we've already well, maybe I should, because
Yeah, shit.
macrobiologically speaking, we know that there are substances that you can take in on a daily basis which have been shown to neutralize radiation poisoning. Okay, and they are the macrobiotic diet, specifically the whole way of eating, but specifically miso soup and sea salt and seaweed. So make sure you start taking that in every day. right now.
Oh, every day, so it's okay to have seaweed every day, huh?
Well, there always been okay to see.
No, no, no.
Small amounts, not.
Yes, it is.
No,
Tons.
well,
Yes, it has.
for a while, and I thought it was even you were saying, but for a while, people were saying, like, you know, the Kushis too, that just do it, just every couple of weeks you need a little seaweed.
No, you can have it every day in small
Because
amounts.
it used to be every day,
That's
but
standard in the miso soup, so if you're getting your cup of miso soup a day,
And you have the thing in there, it's standard right. So anyway, do that. So now to go back to the lung condition, the thing about tuberculosis, now I did touch upon this in the lectures on karma, because when we have tuberculosis, that means we have conquered the illness. In other words, when you find the tubercles in the lungs, that means we've conquered the illness. So you don't have to worry about it. And in other words, our bodies have healed it. And so, in terms of what to do for the lungs, if you have, because the thing is, in terms of our breathing, if we're eating macrobiotic and we've done our ginger compress and so forth, our breathing should come from down here. When we inhale, our abdomen should do this, not from up here. So as the longer we're eating macrobiotically, and the more we have done our ginger compresses, you'll find that your breathing will sink from chest level, where it's rapid and shallow, and it'll sink down, so that you actually feel that when we're inhaling, it's actually coming up from your heel. You don't feel it going here, it feels like it's coming up from the earth. And so when we start to get breathing, they call this chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is that the main culprits in terms of what causes those conditions, emphysema is another one, is the main number one is dairy food, especially what passes for milk in the supermarket. Because it's really, you can't really call that milk, because it's homogenized and pasteurized and this and that is added to it. It's nowhere near the liquid that comes out of the mammary gland of the cow. There's nowhere near. It's not even remotely the same. And of course, ice cream and butter and cheese and white flour, another big culprit. Processed flour. And fruit, because of it's very watery. So you got to just stop eating those things, drinking them. But what to do? Because I often get calls from people that are just having difficulty breathing. I hear about them. When you're macrobiotic, that is, because it could be part of the condition you're healing, or something happens you didn't eat properly or whatever. The main thing to open up the chest quickly is eucalyptus oil. Now the way you use the eucalyptus oil is you get some from a herb store. You can buy it. And you take well, probably just a teaspoonful is enough, because it's very, very yin.
Maybe less than that.
Yeah. And what you do is you boil a gallon or half a gallon of water, bring it to a boil, and then you put it in a big open neck bowl, like this. Then you put the, maybe half a teaspoon, it depends on how strong you want it. The half a teaspoonful of oil, eucalyptus oil in there, and then what you do is you just get a towel and you put it over your head and you inhale. Now if you can't do that, you can just rub it on the chest, and it'll open
so you
things
take
up.
the boiling water out of the pot and put it in a bowl?
Right, big open neck bowl. And you do that. And the other thing that's really good for cleaning out the lungs is mustard plaster. Okay, so first of all, you got to stop eating that food. What is those foods that I mentioned, and then what supports the lungs is because brown rice is the manifestation of the metal chi in the grain kingdom. So brown rice will strengthen the lungs and large intestine. So and we eat that every day anyway, for the most part. I mean, well, at least I do. And the main vegetable is mustard greens. And of course, daikon is really good. In fact, any of the broad leafy greens like kale or not kale, collard greens. You know, the flat ones. Kale, Swiss chard, and spinach.
Dandelions.
Dandelion's more for the heart.
Dandelions what?
The heart. Heart can strengthen the heart. So you eat those, and now as far as if you want to, if you think you have lung stagnation, then, or you've had lung conditions, or in the past, you know, you've had bronchitis. Some people have had bronchitis when they were growing up forever. I mean, forever.
I did, that's why I moved out here partly, because they had me having the flu shot every year, and on all sorts of antibiotics. Like every year when I was growing up, I would get such bad bronchitis, and finally one year it just dawned on me, because I read that if I took all that medication then, like when I'm old and frail, it wouldn't work. And I just thought, this is insane. Like my little mind at the time couldn't grok how it made sense at all, so I stopped.
Right. So, but it's so the thing is, those. It just means to me that we've had a history of bronchitis and growing up is that we need to work on our lungs. So one of the main treatment, and this is an amazing treatment, but you have to be very careful with it, is mustard plaster. Now you have to get the mustard powder, and you can buy mustard powder pretty much anywhere. You know, it's available in regular stores. It's available at the herb store. And what you do is that you take a piece of cheesecloth, which you cut to cover your chest, wherever you happen to be able to do it with, you know, a woman below the breast, a man right across the chest here, or a woman probably better on the back, because then you can cover a larger area. And you probably need somebody to help you do that in that case.
I would think so.
Yeah. And you cut up out a piece of cheesecloth, and you cut out two of them, same size. And what you do is, you know, on your board, or your, you know, in the kitchen, the area that you work on, is you take the mustard and you put like a, maybe a cup, and you add warm water to it to make a thick paste, like a, not too thick, but so it's has a consistency of
Earlobe.
yeah, right.
Consistency of what?
Right.
Earlobe?
Earlobe, yeah, about that
Earlobe.
consistency. Right, and then when you've done that, you spread it about 1/4 of an inch thick on the piece of cheesecloth, and then you cover it to make a sandwich. But you don't put that directly on your skin, because you burn the heck out of it. What you do is you lie down, or if you're having somebody, you lie down on your front, or you lie down on your back, and you put it on the chest, but you put it on a towel. You put a towel there first, like a bath towel, cotton of course, and then you put the plaster on there, and then you put another towel on top of it. And what happens is it gradually starts to get hotter and hotter and hotter and warm up. And you just
Really
basically
does.
leave it until, as hard as you can, as long as you can stand it, as hard as you can stand it. And then you take it off. And you do that every day for about maybe 10 days would be enough, and that should clear it up. You'll get all kinds